Hi there, this is Danielle Tremblay of InsightWithAnimals.com, animal communicator, here to speak with you today about one of 3 keys that I'll be covering over a series of 3 videos that, if you embrace them, will allow you to more effectively communicate with your own animals. And by effectively communicate, what I mean is not just doing the old, what we've been doing for eons as humans, idea of observing their body language, observing their behavior, and guessing or surmising or concluding, often falsely, about what it is they're thinking or how they're really feeling. If you really want to know what's going on for an animal, you need to ask them directly. Hiring an animal communicator, or, and better yet, learning the intuitive skills of communication firsthand yourself. So, key number 1, if you want to effectively talk with your animals, you need to first start with you. You need to embrace the idea that you have very real intuitive capacities, even if they're underdeveloped at this point in time. You see, we humans haven't been trained typically from day one, either in schools or by watching our parents or other authority figures. We haven't just watched them on a daily basis utilize their intuition. So we tend not to, well, we tend to be followers, we tend to copycat, and what we haven't seen, we tend not to do on our own right away. Okay, so that's why, you don't have a whole bunch of children at this point in time, communicating with animals left and right beyond a certain age, typically beyond 3 or 4. We tend to forget that capacity once we hear things like, oh, you're using your imagination, or those are imaginary friends, that's not real. We, out of, what we're sensing and what we're seeing, kind of gets poo-pooed on, by other people. So we tend not to embrace our intuitive abilities. We've just not been trained to accept them, to notice them, to pay attention, to strengthen them, and when we don't have a certain training, well, we tend not to use that skill. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Your intuitive capacities actually do exist. Sometimes you just need to be in the right environment in order for them to blossom. So, case in point, so my parents have a friend that they know who, at the age of 60 years old, she picked up a paintbrush for the very first time and started painting. She had no prior formal experience, had never painted before in her life, and yet she was producing, at the age of 60, these absolutely gorgeous, very professional paintings. And she was selling them. That's how good she was. Your intuition is like picking up a paintbrush. It's sometimes, in order for you to cultivate that, you have to take action, step forward, pick up a paintbrush, okay, put yourself in a class, an intuitive class that appeals to you, and play with it. Play with your intuition. See what happens. You got to take the steps forward in order to invite that into your life. So here's the other thing about embracing your intuition. So those of you that follow Abraham Hicks and the material, the material on the law of attraction, the idea of your thoughts create your reality, like attracts like, it's based on the idea that if you believe that you have intuitive capacities, even if they're underdeveloped at this time, then that in and of itself is enough to start drawing your way and attracting to you the experiences, the people, the events, the circumstances, the opportunities to see that your intuition is real. Especially if you not only have that belief, but then you ask, because asking it shall receive is true, it's real, it's powerful. If you then ask, universe, God, divine, whatever you believe in, that I want evidence and proof and opportunities of seeing that my intuition is real, the universe will bring that to you. Because here's the thing about the universe. The universe and God and the divine, what do you believe in, gives you free will. Free will is given to all infinite beings. You're an infinite being, the animals are an infinite being, we all have free choice. None of us are victims here, despite illusion and despite sometimes the way things look. In reality, we are creating our own lives. And we can create by default, not make many choices, or, choose to believe things that really don't serve us. Okay? Or we can choose the more positive side and create more of that sort of ripple effect. So the universe will give you the support and the evidence of whatever you believe. If you choose to believe your intuition is real, and especially if you ask for support in that, the universe will give you that. And the universe is like, great, I'll support you because you have free will, and I honor and respect your free will. If you choose to say, I don't have an intuitive bone in my body, and that's your belief, the universe is like, great, I'll support you in that. I'll give you support and evidence along that means, along that way. You can choose either direction. You're going to have a very different life depending upon which path you choose. One life can be more fun, perhaps, than the other. With that said, I don't have any judgment on those that choose not to utilize their intuition in this lifetime. It's just a choice, and I believe everybody's in their most perfect place. Same with the animals. They're in their most perfect place at all times. But with that said, if it appeals to you that intuition is a method that you want to start utilizing because you've decided that guessing about what your animal's doing behavior-wise is no longer good enough for you, that happened to me. If it's no longer good enough for you, then embrace a new method. Let go of the old and embrace the new. So my definition of intuition is the idea of basically perceiving through an inner awareness, insights, information, knowledge, and a sense of knowingness about a circumstance or an animal that I'm communicating with, in such a way where the outside world can't generally see that. Okay? It's not very tangible or even measurable for them to see me doing telepathy, to utilizing my intuition. And that's okay. I've reached a place within me where I'm okay with that. I'm okay being different. Because utilizing my intuition, not just with animals in this niche of animal communication work, has totally expanded my whole life. I use my intuition on a daily basis. It's just kind of evolved naturally into that. Life is easier as a result, more fun than I could have ever imagined. And it's an adventure. Far more of an adventure than when I was not utilizing my intuition and didn't know animal communication existed, which was back before 2005. So choosing an underdeveloped intuition just means that you just operate in the old mode of functioning of watching a body, language, behavior of an animal, surmising and guessing and concluding what it means. It's not as empowering or as powerful or generally as accurate as if you go straight to the horse's mouth and ask the animal directly about, hey cat, why are you peeing on the bed? Why are you bucking, horse? Dog, why can't you get along with the other dog we just acquired? You know, it saves time, money. Animal communication is a practical skill and a practical tool, quite frankly, that just makes life a lot easier and gets down to the nitty-gritty right away, versus allowing things to fester over time or to evolve into a greater snowball of a problem. So we have been trained since day one not really to utilize our intuitive skills. However, training can take place at any point in time. If you wanted to start to embrace utilizing your intuition, then I would encourage you to pay attention to an intuitive art field that really interests you, a niche area, for example. So I use the word intuition as just a general umbrella term, and underneath that term there are different niches. There's animal communication, if that interests you. There's psychometry, holding objects, gleaning information off of them, if that interests you. There's mediumship, talking to deceased loved ones. There's talking to spirit guides, angels, ascended masters, and a whole slew of other sorts of intuitive niches. If you step into one of those areas, what I found personally is the other areas start to open right up too, even if you're not purposely trying to seek that. I talk with angels and spirit guides as well, and I do other intuitive work, even though my main niche is with the animals. It just kind of opened right up. So here's the thing. If you want to start embracing your intuitive capacities, put yourself in a setting where you can start learning, okay? Whether it be a local class, or if you're wanting to do one-on-one training with me by phone online, you know, in a private coaching sort of situation. I've got a really awesome program for that, for people that thrive in that environment. Take a class. If you're local to me, Denver and Colorado, that's possible. Read some books at the library on intuition, or on animal communication, or any other niche area that interests you. Immerse your mind, though, into the realm of intuition, because energy flows where attention goes. If you know anything about that saying, you start putting attention on that which you really appreciate or desire or want more of in your life, and it comes your way. All right. Also, you can ask the animals to help you. You can ask your own animal family. Animals, I really desire that you help show me that you're hearing me, that my animal communication skills and thoughts are really getting across to you. If you could demonstrate that, that would be great. It's not that I want you to be a robot and do everything I say or do, but I just really am seeking evidence at this time that animal communication is a possibility for me. And I'll tell you guys, it all is. It all is. It's just about choosing it. It's about picking up that paintbrush and choosing to play with it. Okay? All right, I wish you the absolute best. Take a look below this video. There's a couple links to the classes that I teach in the Denver, Colorado area, as well as the 101 Animal Communication Program. And if either appeal to you, please reach out to me. Wishing you the best.